Can you believe it? Las Vegas just spent over $3.7 billion to create a ghost casino. Fontainebleau, the soaring glass tower in the heart of the Strip, was once touted as bringing new life to the world's premier entertainment city. But just a few months after opening, the place was almost empty. No crowds, no sound of slot machines ringing out. All that remained was an eerie silence, as if arranged for a four-season Halloween night. Fontainebleau is not just a failed project. It's a reminder that even in the city of dreams, not every dream is worth billions of dollars. As tourism declined, operating costs soared, and the public turned away from the glitz, the tower once hailed as a palace in the sky suddenly became an empty symbol of greed and strategic missteps. So, what turned a $3.7 billion icon into America's largest ghost casino? Was it due to poor management, market collapse, or simply because Las Vegas had changed? No longer a paradise for gamblers, but a graveyard for extravagant dreams. In this video, we'll explore each costly mistake to understand why a billion golden dream turned into America's largest ghost casino. 18 years ago, Fontainebleau was hailed by investors as the project that will redefine the future of Las Vegas. However, from the very beginning, that dream faced countless obstacles. Years of delays, financial crises, and the recent decline in tourism have turned Fontainebleau from a beacon of light into an empty shell, a $3.7 billion ghost casino, silently watching the Las Vegas Strip transform in the distance. Located at the north end of the Strip, Fontainebleau is designed as an empire of glitz: 3,744 rooms, 36 restaurants and bars, and a 173,000 SQFT casino. Along with the luxury shopping area along the Grand Promenade and high-end entertainment venues such as the Blue Live Theatre, Live Nightclub, and Day Club. The 67-story tower rises from the desert, giving visitors the feeling of gradually climbing the clouds of paradise. Every detail, from the lighting and music to the scents in the air, is designed to captivate high rollers and wealthy tourists willing to spend lavishly. However, less than 2 years after its grand opening, Fontainebleau found itself in unprecedented difficulty. From a symbol expected to light up the Vegas sky, mounting financial, operational, and regulatory pressures have left the resort struggling to find its footing in a fractured tourism market. Few projects in Las Vegas have endured as difficult a journey as Fontainebleau. Initially hailed as the Vegas version of the iconic Miami landmark, this colossal structure has become a nightmare for almost every owner who has touched it. The opening of Fontainebleau Las Vegas was a feat of engineering and finance, but the result was only precariousness and instability. And of course, everything has its reason. Even the grand opening on December 13, 2023, faced criticism. From the last-minute withdrawal of numerous senior executives to the image of a 6-piece plate of nachos costing $21 going viral on social media, every seemingly small detail exposed the gap between lavish ambition and the loose reality within. In the first few months after its opening, Fontainebleau's financial figures quickly painted a bleak picture. Internal reports show the resort loses an average of $400,000 per day, a figure sufficient to turn the crystal dream into a massive money-burning machine. The cause stems from enormous operating costs, a large workforce, an excessive marketing budget, and high maintenance, utility, and service expenses that far exceed the combined revenue from rooms, dining, and games. The irony is that despite being touted as a paradise for the elite, many amenities were still not ready when it opened. The pool is unfinished, and half of the restaurants and bars are still closed. Visitors spend a lot of money to experience luxury, but only get a feeling of being lost in a structure that hasn't been completed yet. The cost is exorbitant, but the value received is not commensurate, and that is the deepest crack in the crystal dream. Located on the north end of the Strip, Fontainebleau is separated from the crowded tourist traffic of central Vegas. Not many people are willing to walk or drive far to get to a resort that doesn't have a solid reputation yet. Meanwhile, the burden of interest payments from the $3.7 billion construction debt still weighs heavily. Nevertheless, instead of cutting costs, the company proceeded to purchase an additional 2.2 acres of adjacent land for $112.5 million, a controversial decision that exposed the contradiction between reality and the illusion of expansion. On the Vegas forum, a visitor who had experienced Fontainebleau stated bluntly, "They think they are a center-strip high-end resort with an established client base, but in reality, they're a circus competitor with no hotel partner rewards or client list for their gaming floor. They even tried to charge a $5,000 minimum for a 4-seat sportsbook table. That's insane on any level." That somewhat harsh comment hit the nail on the head. The flawed thinking in the business model, trying to project the image of the high class, while in reality not having the foundation to serve that customer group, is what pushed Fontainebleau closer to the brink. Beneath the shimmering paint, one begins to see the outline of a repainted circus, different on the outside, but the same at its core. By the end of 2025, the situation still hadn't improved much. Las Vegas saw a significant drop in visitor numbers compared to 2024, particularly in the number of flights arriving and conferences booked. Fontainebleau, once touted as the new shining light of the city, is now remembered only through cold remarks. Cold, themeless, and looks like a dead mall. From a project expected to define the future, Fontainebleau has now become a symbol of the disconnect between two eras of Vegas. Between old Vegas, which was dazzling, popular, and full of energy, and new Vegas, which is opulent, cold, and empty. Is Vegas losing its soul by turning everything into a product to sell, including faith and memories? And if even dreams built of crystal can shatter, what else can illuminate America's future? Perhaps this is Fontainebleau's biggest pain point. They built a paradise for the elite, but forgot that Vegas exists on the dreams of ordinary people. Once born from coins, small bets, and the public's desire for a rags-to-riches story, a crystal wall now stands, serving only a class to which Vegas never truly belonged. Fontainebleau was clearly positioned from the outset, a resort and luxury casino aimed at the mid-high to high-end customer segment, those with high incomes, brand savvy, and a desire for luxury in every detail. From over 35 high-end fashion boutiques like Giuseppe Zanotti and Missoni, to a lineup of fine dining restaurants, luxurious interiors, and VIP Rolls-Royce Phantom chauffeur service, everything is designed to showcase class. Fontainebleau wants to become a symbol of trendiness, a place where just by walking through the door, you're separated from the normal world. However, that very ambition became a self-made trap. By only catering to the upper class, Fontainebleau inadvertently excluded its core customer base, mid-range travelers, families, and international guests with moderate budgets, who are the true lifeblood of Vegas. Those people didn't bring in huge profits overnight, but they were a steady source of revenue that kept the wheels of Vegas turning for decades. When the economy faltered, or when the upper class tightened their spending, Fontainebleau had no support. Even more dangerously, high-end clients don't just pay for the light and the fame. They demand perfection. The service must be exquisite, the experience unique, and every detail worth every penny. But when Fontainebleau opened unfinished, the pool wasn't done, the restaurant wasn't open, and the amenities were out of sync, the reaction from the upper class was even more intense. A middle-aged tourist who has visited Vegas several times a year shared, "Be realistic. It was the ordinary people who kept Vegas alive, and now they can no longer afford Vegas. Vegas is inherently a multi-layered ecosystem, where locals place small bets, mid-range tourists attend shows, and the wealthy stay in high-end suites. Each floor keeps the wheels turning. But Fontainebleau, by removing the first two floors, disrupted that natural flow. With no middle-class customers to fill the halls and no locals to keep the gaming tables lively, the domino effect began to spread. The casino was empty, restaurants operated at a standstill, and retail stores had no customers. On TripAdvisor, Fontainebleau holds a 4.5-star rating, which sounds decent at first glance, but ranking 30th out of 252 hotels in Las Vegas is a concerning sign for a project that has been invested in with billions of dollars. It's not just a number, it's a reminder that glitz cannot replace soul. Vegas was once built on the dream that everyone can win. But Fontainebleau makes one feel that this playground is only for those who have enough money to enter. And when only the rich play with the rich, what's left isn't Vegas. It's a stage built for itself. No audience, no soul. Is Vegas returning to an era of exclusivity, where the lights only shine for the privileged few? And if no one dreams together anymore, is Vegas still Vegas? But the tragedy didn't stop there. Even the soul that Fontainebleau tried to create wasn't its own. In a city where creativity is considered a religion, Fontainebleau chose the opposite path, becoming a copy of others. In a place built on audacity, where everything exists thanks to the wildest ideas, Fontainebleau offers a sense of security that is almost bland. Amidst the flashing LED lights and rows of brilliantly reflective glass, nothing new was found, only a repetition of what Vegas did much better years ago. From an ice rink and a cosmopolitan-inspired outdoor movie theatre to interior designs that are said to almost copy Wynn and Resorts World, Fontainebleau seems to borrow every possible idea without truly creating its own unique identity. No longer a creative Vegas where each structure tells a unique story, Fontainebleau only adds an empty echo to the chorus of repetitive luxury. And in the city of illusions, the worst thing isn't failure, it's invisibility. The media disaster only made that crack even more visible. The photo of the $24 nachos with a mere 6 chips and a sprinkle of cheese went viral online, turning the luxury icon into an internet meme and causing Fontainebleau's attempt to promote its classiness to crumble within hours. From an image of luxury incarnate, Fontainebleau became a laughingstock in the public eye, an expensive symbol that was empty, much like its architecture itself. Dazzling, but without a soul. Visitors who have strolled through Bellagio still remember the dancing fountains. People go to Wynn to watch the dreamlike lake reflect the sunset, and Resorts World impresses with its giant LED wall that illuminates the entire night sky. But what about Fontainebleau? Its centerpiece is a 1966 Ford Galaxy hanging upside down in the lobby, a symbol so perplexing that many wonder, is this art, or just the ostentation of a place that no longer knows how to tell a story? Perhaps the greatest irony lies in this. In a city where the impossible becomes possible, Fontainebleau chose the easiest path, copying. That safety in the world of Vegas is not a sign of success, but a death knell. Because a Vegas that doesn't dare to be different is a Vegas that is slowly dying. In the end, Fontainebleau raises a question larger than itself. What remains when everything is equally magnificent? When luxury becomes the standard, it no longer creates value. It only creates fatigue. Perhaps that's why, amidst the dazzling neon sky, Fontainebleau still looks as cold as an unnamed museum. Perhaps Vegas needs to remember an old lesson. People come here not just to spend money, but to experience magic. And when that magic disappears, no brand, whether Rolls-Royce or Baccarat, can buy it back. Luxury without soul, is that evolution or degeneration? A city born from a miracle. How long can it survive if that miracle is gone? The brighter the light, the more visible the cracks. In Las Vegas, where everything is covered in a perfect layer of crystal, light isn't just for illumination, it also exposes. And when Fontainebleau opened, that light no longer reflected its glory, but illuminated the cracks within its very structure of power. Less than a year after the grand opening, a series of high-level executives left the company one after another. The Chief Financial Officer, CFO, the Chief Operating Officer, COO, the Chief Technology Officer, CTO, and even the head of the beverage department, a seemingly small position, but the backbone of the hotel's service system, all left their posts almost simultaneously. Behind the press releases, for personal reasons, lies a truth no one wants to say. Fontainebleau is losing control. Amid internal turmoil, the Nevada Gaming Control Board launched an investigation into the improper extension of credit to players, raising suspicions of violations of federal anti-money laundering laws. Although there is no official conclusion yet, the incident immediately shook the image of a brand that was already trying to regain public trust after massive losses. Fontainebleau chairman Maurice Wooden, a former casino industry figure, was only granted a temporary 2-year license while regulators continued to review internal operations. A building can be repaired with money, but trust, once broken, is not easily mended. On social media, travelers share feelings of lack of transparency when booking, confusing extra fees, and complaints that everything looks beautiful but is empty. Investors are cautious, and the market is observing. A hotel can be built in 2 years, but brand trust takes a whole generation to build, and only a few months to lose. The trouble continued to escalate as Fontainebleau became embroiled in a legal dispute with Wynn Resorts, which was accused of illegally poaching senior personnel. The incident, though not yet resolved, has strained relations between the two strip giants and made other corporations hesitant to cooperate. In a place where every handshake is worth millions of dollars, being seen as lacking business ethics is a difficult scar to erase. Behind the elegant glass reflecting the neon lights, Fontainebleau now resembles a cracked mirror, beautiful but no longer seamless. It's not just a financial crisis, but also a crisis of corporate governance ethics. Wrong decisions, investigations, and the exodus of the management team transformed what was once hailed as the new Vegas miracle into a costly lesson about trust, transparency, and the limits of power. A building can be repaired with money, but what about trust? When the whole system is just a hollow shell, who will still believe in this dream? Amidst the intricate cracks of a building once considered a Renaissance icon, a few lights still remain on. Fontainebleau, despite being mired in crisis and debt, still shows glimmers of hope. Small efforts that carry the promise that Las Vegas hasn't completely lost its pulse. The Blue Live Theatre continues to regularly host large-scale concerts featuring international stars, bringing a bit of life to the empty hall. Nightclubs like Livy or Poodle Room still attract young crowds looking to escape reality for a moment, and laser lights still sweep through the tired atmosphere, as if trying to convince everyone that Vegas is still alive. Some restaurants in the complex are starting to get busier on weekends, mainly thanks to room discounts, flash sales, and free parking. Things that were once considered luxuries are now becoming a lifeline. Fontainebleau also began opening its doors wider to local residents, accepting the fact that to survive, they needed to reconnect with the community that had sustained Vegas for decades. In a move that received little attention but has long-term significance, workers at Fontainebleau officially unionized with the local hotel union, received raises, and improved benefits. This is not only a victory for workers, but also a sign that Las Vegas itself is trying to rediscover its human soul, something it seemed to have lost in the years following the pandemic. A server shared with the Las Vegas Review-Journal that, "We can't control room prices, but we can make every guest feel respected." A simple sentence, but it encapsulates the efforts of an entire weary city to be reborn. Vegas is still bright, but it's a different kind of light, the light of a city fighting not to be forgotten. Amidst the crystal buildings, declining revenue figures, and empty seats in the casinos, there are still small people who continue to believe this city deserves another chance. Can Vegas be reborn when the faith of its own people has dwindled? Or is this a sign of a new era, when light, no matter how beautiful, cannot save the spreading darkness? And then, amidst the city of dreams, Fontainebleau became a mirror reflecting America itself today, glamorous on the outside. Can Vegas be reborn when the faith of its own people has dwindled? Or is this a sign of a new era, when light, no matter how beautiful, cannot save the spreading darkness? And then, amidst the city of dreams, Fontainebleau became a mirror reflecting America itself today, glamorous on the outside, but weary on the inside, waiting for something, or someone, to make it believe again. Each night, as the blue light from the Fontainebleau Tower casts its glow across the desert sky, it is no longer an invitation to tourists, but rather a silent signal of resilience. That light still shines, not to welcome guests, but to remind them that Las Vegas is not yet ready to accept defeat. In a city once born of dreams and chance, Fontainebleau is now a testament to a paradox. Too big to fail, but also too empty to survive. This 67-story, $3.7 billion building, once hailed as a symbol of revival, has become a cautionary tale for a generation of post-pandemic projects. Structures built on financial ambition, but lacking the soul to sustain confidence. However, even through the glass reflecting the lights of the Strip, there are still faint rays of light. If Fontainebleau can learn to serve the community instead of serving its image, the door is still ajar. Room discount strategies, free parking, or opening up to local residents, however small, show a shift in mindset, from ostentatious to sharing. Because Vegas wasn't built with gold, but with the faith of ordinary people, the servers, drivers, bar singers, who turned it into America's biggest stage. The revival of Fontainebleau, if it happens, will not come from new investments or flashy promotional campaigns, but from a renewed understanding of human value. In the 70s and 80s, Las Vegas was a place for everyone, where anyone could walk in and feel like they belonged. Today, with room rates doubling, resort fees piling onto every bill, and everything seeming designed for the few, the city is losing the very thing that made it great: the feeling of being welcomed. Observers say the future of Fontainebleau depends on whether it can reinvent itself, learning from the more humanistic model that brands like Marriott Bonvoy are pursuing, bridging the gap between luxury and approachability, between money and emotion. That might be the only way forward for a city that's tired, but still refuses to turn off the lights. If Fontainebleau can awaken, can America not as well? And will we still recognize that dream, when everything now is just a reflection in our own mirror? Every night, as the light from Fontainebleau still shines into the desert sky, it is not just a trace of an unfinished building, but a reminder that even in ruin, there is hope. Vegas was once built on the dreams of ordinary people, and perhaps only when the city learns to listen to them again can it find its lost soul. Fontainebleau may still be a ghost casino today, but who knows? Perhaps in its shadows, another dream is being kindled, slowly, fragilely, but more truly than ever before. Can a city be reborn through the hearts of the people who once believed in it? And when that final light goes out, what will remain? A dead Vegas, or an America awakening to itself? If you find this story thought-provoking, please share your thoughts in the comments section, because who knows, your voice might help preserve the last remaining light in this city. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue exploring with us the stories behind the symbols that once made America. All content in this video is compiled from public information sources, media reports, and data provided by reputable agencies at the time of production. The goal of the video is to analyze social and economic phenomena from an objective perspective, without being accusatory, judgmental, or making absolute statements about any individual, organization, or business. The views, opinions, and quotes in the video are for informational and commentary purposes only and do not represent any political or commercial stance. Viewers are encouraged to research, compare, and independently evaluate before drawing their own conclusions.